welcome back to my channel. This is Dom and an update on some of my continuing painting projects. You can see from the turntable, hopefully, my addiction to 15mm O group continues apace. I showed off a whole load of the Russians and then the German late war figures that I've painted up. This is the last few of the late war Germans that I finished off just before I went away on holiday, actually. So you got another group of 3 sections plus some officer units to go along with it. I think these are a mixed bag. Some of them are Battlefront, some of them are Skytrex metals. But you can see they all fit in pretty well together. So I've tried to do a sort of late war camo on the figures, on their smocks and things, to varying degrees of success, but they'll do fine from 3 foot away. They're 15mm figures, for goodness sake. So yeah, so that's them done. So along with the infantry, here's some more support options. There's a couple of Panzer Shrek teams here and here. I think these are, I really can't remember whether they're plastics or metals. Anyway, this is an infantry gun, which is definitely Skytrex. I'm pretty sure that one is Skytrex. And then I think this is supposed to be full observers. Again, all for the late war. Although this infantry gun, the crew are just wearing sort of standard German outfits, so they could be early, mid or late war, I think, which is useful because I'm also doing an early war German army, so that I can use that in some of the early Russian campaign scenarios. So that's more 15mm done. So these are a couple of Russian armoured cars. I think the BA6s, I think. I've forgotten exactly, but I think they're BA6s. They've got 45mm guns on them. They are Skytrex metal figures, and as I said, I'm sort of looking to change the Russians and the Germans I've got so that I can play them both early, mid and late war. For the Russians it's quite easy because the equipment, some of the equipment changed, but the actual sort of style of uniforms and stuff didn't substantially change. So I'm just getting a few extra vehicles that allow me to fight both sides, or all periods of the war. So that's where these come in. Nice little models. So talking about early war, these are T28 Russian tanks. Again, they're metal Skytrex models. I have to say I commend Skytrex for their delivery. They're part of Warlords now, but you place an order and it literally comes within a couple of days. I know they're slightly more expensive, especially because they're metal versus plastic. But you can get the more obscure vehicles there, which is kind of what I wanted. It seems like most of the Flames of War and Battlefront figures are plastics are sort of late war. I know, again, Plastic Soldier Company do some sort of earlier mid-war options, but they don't seem to do this in 15mm anyway. The sort of slightly more unusual vehicles like the T28s, which actually were quite common early part of the war. So anyway, nice models. Just did them exactly. All these Russians have been done exactly the same way, undercoated with a black primer, sort of drag brushed with a flat green, a bit of wash over the top, then a sort of dry brush with deck tan, basically, and then the track's all done as well before that. So just simple, effective, and I like the look of it. So this is a Su 100, and while I was doing my Skytrex orders, I had to pick this one up because I in the game I've put up so far of O group that I had with Jonathan, I confused the Su 100 with the ISU this Su 122 with the ISU 122. And I mean, so did he, so it was all good, but I thought I'd get a Su 122 just to make sure that it covers all the options. So there you go, nice metal model. Again, it's a Skytrex model. At this time I actually put the crew member sort of half hanging out the turret just for a bit of variety. Really pleased with how it came out. And how about this for a big mother? This is the KV2 with the massive 152mm howitzer. Early war tank. Just devastating. This reminds me very much of my days of playing World of Tanks and enjoying just trolling out with a platoon of KV2s and just obliterating everybody with that 152mm gun. I mean, it looks like it's got an outbuilding stuck on its chassis, so it's fairly easy to take down, but a lot of fun while you've got it. So again, this is a Skytrex 15mm metal model. Not much else to say. Painted the same way. Hopefully going to have some fun on the table. So these next few things are a bit cheaty. I picked these up on eBay. Well, they were largely painted, and all I've done is base them and tart them up a bit. This is a couple of obviously heavy scout cars, or yeah, I think that's what they call them, heavy scout cars for the Germans, and I think it's a Bison assault gun, or yeah, self-propelled gun. I'm not sure whether I'll actually use this, but I suppose if I do go into early war, then it's better than using a Wesp or something like that. So yeah, they'll just sit in the army box ready to rock and roll. They were quite nicely done before I got them. They just needed a bit of improvement, a bit of just sort of tarting up a little bit. They looked like they'd been through the wars literally. So they were a bargain, so I got them. So again, talking about early war Germans, I also found, as well as those vehicles, somebody was selling off some early war German infantry on eBay. They look pretty reasonable. They need a little bit of touching up, a little bit of improvement around the edges and proper basing. They didn't have any basing. So I've just sort of taken those and tarted them up. Annoyingly, there's just one squad short of what I actually need as a standard German formation, but for O group, but I'm sure I can work around that, and I've got a few plastics that I can put in as well. Nice models. I don't know whose models they are, but they're rather nice. They're all metal. Every single one of them are metal, yeah, I think they've been done pretty well, so I didn't have to do an awful lot with them. So also with those infantry, there were a couple of machine gun squads, so I based those up, or they were already based up, and I just did the basing because they were just stuck on Flames of War bases. Tarted them up a little bit. Nice models, again, metal. And this guy, you can't quite see it probably in this light, but this is a light mortar which will join the forces as well for my early war Germans. So finally, for the sort of partially painted or mostly painted figures I picked up on eBay, we got 3 anti-tank rifle teams here and a couple of company commander units, which will go straight onto the table as part of the O group army. Again, exactly the same as the previous lot, largely painted, pretty well painted to the most part, just needed a bit of touching up and basing. And quite pleased with how they've actually come out. Saved a lot of time. Not that these take a long time to paint, but you know what I mean. So these are some more vehicles I picked up on eBay. These weren't painted. I picked them up completely unpainted. These are Panzer 38Ts, the Czech tank that was used extensively by the German army in the early part of the war. They're metal models. I have no idea who the manufacturer is, but they're quite nice, and they painted up pretty well. I just took the early war sort of grey for these early to mid-war, because I think it was about 1942, 43, I think, where they started to change to the Dunkelgelb colouring rather than just the flat grey. So I'm doing some tanks in grey, particularly the early war ones, and the rest in Dunkelgelb. 38Ts were really early war, so these are definitely in the grey. So next up, a couple of Panzer Threes, again picked up on eBay. They're plastic models, they were completely assembled. They look like they're probably Battlefront or something, but nice little models actually. So I've just painted them up again as early war vehicles. Not much else to say, just used some of the transfers I had left over from the German box set that I'm working through. They're, yeah, just really nice little models actually, really quite pleased with these. And to go with them, another 3 Panzer Threes. These are the short stubby barreled guns, support tanks I think they were, because I think initially the Germans kind of followed the British way of doing things. So they had some tanks that had anti-tank capability and some tanks that had were primarily anti-infantry. They transitioned that later on, and they all became multifaceted, but these look like they got short, stubby, higher caliber shells, or higher caliber barrels on the front of them. So yeah, again picked up unpainted, just plastic models from eBay. Somebody had obviously bought more than they needed. Picked them up for a song and just painted them up as early war tanks, and they'll join the armoury. So obviously 28mm is dead. We talk about that in the plastic crack all the time. No, it's not. Of course it's not. Much as I'm enjoying doing the 15mm, I'm actually sort of hankering, giving me a sort of drive to go back and do some more 28mm. So plenty of those in the stash of opportunity for me to work through. So just to get going, this is some just some barrels. I think I got them from Dixon's. They are metal actually. They're all individual, and I've just grouped them on a base, so they can either be a barricade of some sort, or they can be an objective, depending on how I want to use them, what the game period is. But you know, wooden barrels, they're pretty much useful all the way through most of the periods I fight with, so should be useful. And I've just stuck them on a fairly nondescript sort of muddy base, ready to see action. So there you go. So I am definitely continuing with my War of the Roses figures as well. These are a unit of crossbowmen that will form part of my Richard III force that I'm sort of working my way through, sort of off and on. I've just done them as a small unit, which is how we play them in the version of Hail Caesar that Martin's developed some special rules for War of the Roses. These are, I just like the way they had a guy with purvets and the other guy sort of popping around to shoot. They are Dixon miniatures, apart from the guy in the middle here. He's a very, very old foundry figure that I found in a box when I was sorting through my my old figures, and I thought I'd repurpose him, so he's had a new lease of life, new paint job and put on the base with these fellas. He's hard enough, he doesn't need a purvets, the others do. So yeah, so this will be another one in the War of the Roses formation, ready for when I build out the Richard III force. So also my off and on project is my Russian Napoleonic one. Got plenty of forces now actually, really doing well with that. I think I just need a few more infantry battalions, and I've got some cavalry to paint up. These are Opel-Cheney with muskets. This time I've got a unit of Opel-Cheney with pike. Opel-Cheney were a sort of almost a religious, I want to say a religious sort of militia that was pulled together by the Russian Orthodox Church to support their forces in against the French invaders of 1812. They were pretty mixed bag, in all honesty, but I've tried to sort of simulate that sort of religious fervour by putting an Orthodox priest in the middle. That's from a company that Mezer's Miniatures works with. I forget now, it's a resin model. It's actually a Greek miniature, but the Greek Orthodox and the Russian Orthodox have pretty similar, so I thought it would go perfectly. A couple of the standards are from a guy on eBay. If you're after them, look up Oppel Cheney flags, and there's a few options there which are really good, really nice. And these figures themselves, the rest of the figures are foundry metals. They only do a couple of packs of rifles. Musket armed Oppel Cheney, the ones with the sort of fur hats, and then some with the flat hats. And so I've just mixed them together and also added in just a regular infantry command group, just to show the sort of ragtag nature of the unit. Colours and uniforms for these guys is fairly varied and basic, depending on what was available, what they could scavenge. These guys I've gone with predominantly the green, so a lot of them have got green overcoats on, just because I think it looks kind of neat together. Yeah, nice little unit, really pleased with how it's come out, and it will join my Russian force. I think I'm going to do 2 more Oppel Cheneys, so that'll give me 4 in total, amongst the infantry, just for give me those flexibility to play some of those 1812 scenarios if I wish. And I've picked up a couple of these priests. Well, there's another one like this, and I've got another completely different Orthodox priest, which I'll put in one of the other units. It's a shame actually the pikemen haven't got it, because they'd be ideal with a priest leading the way, but so never mind. Anyway, there you go. So that's the Oppel Cheney completed. And there you go, that's what I've been working on the last week or so. Well, some of it was the week before I went away on holiday, and the rest of it's been since I came back. So pretty pleased with the progress. And I think that's what I'm going to try and do in future, is just sort of keep going on one major project and then have a couple of the minor ones on the go. I sort of had a bit of a serious talking to myself when I was away on holiday, and said, well, look, I really need to focus down on a few projects rather than just have, literally everything on the go at once, which means I probably will be selling a few of my figures that I just think I'm never going to paint up, never going to use, which is going to be very, very difficult for me. But anyway, pray for me. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe. I hope your projects are going well, and I hope you're getting some fresh air and some sun, and if that's your thing, over this summer period that it is, at least in Europe at the moment. And I will see you soon. Thanks for watching. Hit that like, subscribe, notification, all that good stuff, and I'll see you again soon. This is Dom signing out.